This is Josh Hart here for Seconds Out. It's fight week, Johnny Fisher versus Alen Babic, and I'm joined by Eddie Hearn. Eddie, massive week for Matchroom. How excited are we for this fight?
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, the press conference was epic. Alen Babic is always great form. It's a really good fight. You know, obviously it's sold very well, but there's a lot of interest from the media as well. I think it's going to rate very highly, and it's a massive fight for Johnny Fisher. You know, I think he's a world heavyweight prospect, but we're going to find out how much of a prospect on Saturday, because Alan's going to do everything that he said he's going to do up there.
Michael Gomez Jr. last year, which some felt he might have done enough to win. And that will be your chief support, and this will be your main event. It'll all lead to the knockout stage. Live on DAZN Saturday night, it's Alen Babic and Johnny Fisher, 10 rounds at heavyweight. It's chaos. Strap in. Let's bring them face to face.
Face to face, boys, please.
I said yes because you underestimated the Savage. Everybody underestimates the Savage. The whole my life it's been like that, but never like this, because I was fighting big men when Johnny Fisher was 10 years old. I was knocking them out cold. So I'm gonna show you what is boxing. Boxing will be the only judge on the night. Nobody's gonna save him. Nobody's gonna be with him. He has so many fans, and his father's doing an amazing job. And I'm jealous, but listen, to be here, I had to claw my way to be at this stage. He just had to drive a car like 10 minutes. I had to do 100 fights on this shit arena where people are trying to kill me, literally. So I'm going to show you what boxing can do on Saturday night.
And what does Johnny Fisher need to do to beat Alen Babic? Because, like you said, we know what we expect from Alen. How can Johnny navigate himself around that?
I think that you can try and box smart, you can take your time, you can use your jab, but you're going to be under non-stop pressure from Babic. So essentially you're going to end up standing your ground and trading up. And I actually don't think it's a good idea for Alen to trade with Johnny, but he ain't got no choice because he doesn't have to do anything else. So he's going to come out, he's going to take him to the trenches, or try to, and if he gets caught early, it could be over. I think this fight might be over inside 3 rounds, but it'll be carnage while it lasts. And
obviously, without overlooking Alen Babic, with a victory for Johnny Fisher on Saturday night, where would you look at taking him next?
I think, you know, we've already done 6,000, so with a big following win, we could get up to 7 on Saturday for this fight. So, you know, the likes of Adelaide, you know, could be next. The likes of, I don't know, Dave Allen, the likes of Solomon Dakers. I don't know, but I'm looking more at Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark. That's the kind of fights that I know can fill the O2 Arena. We want to take him internationally. He's actually got a huge following in Australia as well, Johnny Fisher. So, but let's see. Let's get Saturday out of the way first.
And just moving forward, USYK Fury 2. We obviously know there's a rematch date now. We've seen Fury's comments in the media. How do you see the rematch playing out when those two face off?
I think Usyk's a favourite in a rematch, but TYSON Fury can definitely win that fight. You know, a lot depends on physically what that fight took out of both men. Like, Usyk was exhausted after that fight, and Fury took a lot of punishment in the 9th round as well. So, very good fight, very competitive fight, one that both men can win. But I think following the first fight, just slightly favour Alexander Usyk in that rematch.
And we've seen Riyadh season now branch out into America and now the UK. Who's in charge of different things? So obviously, I'm sure it's a bit different putting on these shows in other countries compared to Saudi Arabia like usual. How does that all work?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they lean on the support of, I guess, the 3 people that are most involved in the infrastructure and making the fights, which is Queensberry, Matchroom and Gold Star. You know, we build the cards, but His Excellency is the creator and director. So, you know, we'll all be helping on the ground. Queensberry have had a lot to do from a logistical point of view in Saudi Arabia and Wembley. We've got a lot to do in Los Angeles with that show that we're kind of on the ground, not running, but helping Riyadh season with. So yeah, I think that 3 of us work closely as a team, and obviously now, you know, the great thing is that when His Excellency says, right, this is the show. I mean, now up and coming will be October 12th, Bivol Beterbiev, right? Tell me the fights. that we can have. So myself, George and Spencer will go back with fights, and he will look at all these fights. We might put 12 fights forward, and he will go, like that one, don't like that one, let me watch them. So he builds everything. But he knows what he's talking about, and obviously he's building crazy cards as well. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun and a lot of work as well, because as you can imagine, the level that they expect is extreme, and the shows are of a huge magnitude.
And then just moving forward, we've had some news recently that the WBC have approved a return for Manny Pacquiao to go straight to the world title against Mario Barrios. What do you make of that?
I think that a lot said about like Manny Pacquiao, he should never fight again. I mean, I don't think, until we see him again, we can't really make a real judgment on at what level he's at. Like, he's nowhere near the fighter he once was, but he could probably beat most welterweights in the world outside of the top 20 or 15. But again, it's been a while. So to go straight in for the world championship, I get it, I'm not so sure, but I think that if he feels fresh and healthy, that, you know, at a certain level, he should continue if he thinks it's the right thing to do.
And we know that Conor Benn wanted the Barrios fight. What is the latest on Conor Benn?
Just waiting with UKAD for a final date, really, when he can fight. I think that's what we want now. We don't want to keep going backwards and forwards. We've got to get this locked in. Tell me the date that Conor Benn can return. That's all I need to know. We'll book a stadium and we'll have a massive fight. It's been over 2 years. You've got people like Ryan Garcia, kind of like an admission of guilt, what he did. He gets a year. But Conor Benn, wasn't prepared to accept any guilt because he's adamant on his innocence. Unfortunately, it's probably cost him in this situation, but it is what it is.
How frustrating has it been these last 2 years, especially when you see the case with Garcia?
But now I think the end is near in terms of that date. That's all we want now. We want a date, because a lot of the other stuff has been uncertainty as to when. So, yeah, right now, the only thing that matters is getting that date.
And then very lastly, at the end of this month, we've got Joyce versus Chisora. Do you believe that's a fight that should be happening?
I think that if Derek's going to fight again, that's an okay fight for him to take. I think against a certain style, towards the back end of his career, it might not be a fight that you want, but Joe is strong and, he can punch a little. He's not a devastating one-punch knockout artist, but he's quite slow, and I think Derek's got a chance in that fight. So it might not be the prettiest, might be grueling, but, I'm sure Derek will be competitive in the fight.
And who do you believe wins that fight?
I guess it's a case of who's got what left.
Fair enough. Eddie, thank you very much for your time. See you on Fight Night.
See you, mate.